Let's talk about some standout plays and players from today's practice, which is Thursday, August 11th. Hear from Coach Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Justin Reid. Take a look at a receiver who keeps standing out recently at camp and is very well earning himself a spot on this roster, and much freaking more. But first, how about those?
How about those Chiefs?
What's up, guys? My name is Cole, aka the Rappin' Snappin' Redbeard Captain, or sometimes known as the beautiful bearded bearer of Chiefs news, and I do just that. Daily news about the Kansas City Chiefs, so make sure to sub if you're new, hit that like button if you think Derek Carr is an average QB at best, and Colin Cowherd is literally insane for listing him as an elite QB.
Because I think he's top 10 quarterback in the league. Most people don't have him anywhere near that.
And let's get into this video, starting with an injury report from today's practice. Frank Clark was a no-show due to illness, and what that illness is, I have no freaking idea. Maybe he had a little sip of wine or some red meat, but hopefully, either way, he's back tomorrow. Zane Anderson was out due to a shoulder injury, but Coach Reid said it's stable and he's doing better. So that's good. Gary Jennings is still in concussion protocol after bouncing his helmet off of a window in the indoor practice facility up there at the college. And then, of course, Lucas Niang is still dealing with that knee recovery, rehab, etc. The only additional injury to today was Omar Bayless, who left early due to back tightness. So as minor as a cramp or something extremely worse, let's just say as someone who's dealing with back issues myself, I feel for this man and hope he gets well soon. And then, in some good news, defensive tackle Taylor Stallworth returned to the practice field, as well as Jody Fortson, who was seen back at practice getting some work in via individual drills only. But hey, it's a step in the right direction.
So it was good to get Jody some work back out there. We're ramping him kind of back up, so he was able to do the front part of practice.
DeRuse Fountain is another guy who was seen back and was looking nice indeed via this clip right here, a solid 1v1 rep in which Fountain was able to get some nice separation, and I mean, he looks good. That groin injury is hopefully behind him, as he seems to be moving around just fine with a nice little spin move at the end there even. And another person to mention here, not an injury, but he was not in attendance and won't be apparently until Monday's practice. That's the newly signed defensive tackle Danny Shelton. So we won't see him Saturday during the game, yet Andy Reid is excited to have him out here with the team, although Coach Reid said he may need to lose a couple pounds.
He's a gifted athlete. For as big as he is, he's a gifted athlete. He's had some real productive snaps. He was with the Giants last year, had productive snaps there. You know, he and I probably could afford to lose a couple, and I think he'll do that as we go forward.
So Andy Reid is excited about him being here, but said he needs to lose some weight in the nicest way you possibly could say something like that. All right, coach, noted. And something else worth noting is that Big Red said this about who will be playing when during Saturday's game against the Little Bears.
As far as the game goes, we'll go quarters for the quarterback. So we got 4 quarterbacks, each one will get a quarter. And then their group will kind of follow along with that. Try to get the young guys the majority of the reps as we go and make sure they get enough work.
Well, apparently Andy Reid isn't telling the full truth here, because according to Twitter, the people on Twitter, it's estimated Mahomes will play 1 series or 2 at the most rather than the entire quarter. But he says regardless of how much the starters actually play, it's a good thing to have them out there for this reason.
I think it's good to kind of get the juices going, get yourself out there, and even if it's a limited amount of plays, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself mentally to go play.
And Mahomes explained from his perspective why he likes getting some reps during the preseason games as well.
And I like to get hit at like one time. So once you get hit one time, you kind of see what it is to get hit again as a quarterback. I feel like after that, you're good to go. But it'll be good to get in there with the new group of receivers that we have, all the running backs, and kind of show how we do it in the game. Because obviously we're doing it here at practice, but to show how we do it in the game before that first game against Arizona, who's a great opponent, I think will be good for us.
Well, Patrick, I promise you that none, N-O-N-E, of us like seeing you get hit ever. But if it makes you feel better, then so freaking be it. Mahomes then explained why he practices trick throws and tosses after being asked if he plans on doing some of them in an upcoming game.
I haven't yet. Maybe as the season goes along. But usually they happen best when they kind of happen naturally. And that's, I think, when that left-handed pass happened in Denver a couple years back, it was kind of out of necessity. And so I just like to keep myself ready in case that does happen, I'm able to make that pass.
Well, if you stay ready, You ain't got to get ready. Isn't that right, Patrick? Okay, let's get into today's practice, which was the final practice of the week before Saturday's preseason game against the Bears, because tomorrow they're traveling to Chi-Town. The Chiefs worked on various specific real-world scenarios, emphasizing a handful of areas during the session, including short yardage and run-on field goal attempts, but the final full team period was dedicated to driving the length of the field. In this drill, the offense began inside its own 5-yard line and was tasked with moving downfield over a series of plays. And as far as defensive highlights and standouts go, Rashad Fenton is one who recently found himself off the PUP list and back in pads and was back at it again today. I'm pretty sure he didn't fully participate and is still ramping up and all that good stuff. And I also don't think he'll play against the Bears on Saturday, but it matters not at the moment because it's going to take a little time for this man to get back to being game ready, although he's looking pretty good so far, which you can see here in this 1v1 rep against Skyy Moore. Nothing too crazy, but the man is back again, and working. Cornerback Jalen Watson could also be seen working, getting some reps in with the ones and team drills and covering MVS on a deep route. Cornerback Nazeeh Johnson had a couple very nice plays today, one where he forced a fumble on Jordan Franks, and another here in this clip when he jumped a route by DeRuse Fountain and took it back for a touchdown. Nice work by Johnson, who Harold Kuntz noted has steadily improved throughout camp. And then here's a great play by cornerback Joshua Williams against Skyy Moore as he perfectly times the ball and makes a jump on it to break the pass up. Incredible reaction by Williams. And then Williams is back in action again here in this 1v1 rep against Justin Watson, in which he breaks up a pass and follows through to the end for a nice little bobbled interception. You love to see it. Nate Taylor also commented on Williams, noting that he had a nice practice. So, more praise for Williams as he seems to be working his way into a potential starting cornerback role, or close to it at least if training camp progress translates at all onto the actual football field. If Fenton comes back as the number 3 corner, however, then Williams won't likely start. That's going to be L'Jarius Sneed, Trent McDuffie, then Rashad Fenton, but Williams should definitely see some time out there on the field for sure. Time will tell there, and hopefully the Chiefs feel like they have some time indeed to further develop this man with Fenton back in action. Another corner to keep your pupils on is DiCaprio Bootle, who could be seen here breaking up a pass. Anyway, enough of the secondary, as Willie Gay could be seen here with a nice pass breakup in this play with Mahomes throwing to Kelce, but denied by Willie. Nice work by Gay here indeed. And then rookie George Karlaftis is apparently beyond ready to violently hit people, as he could be seen wanting to physically remove the soul from MVS's body here on this play. Easy, George. Your time will come. Trust me. And with Frank Clark out, Karlaftis got more solid reps with the first team alongside Carlos Dunlap and Mike Dana as well. And George took advantage of those reps, as he could be seen here making a great read on the ball in this play, retreating from the line just in time, that rhymed, to swat the ball out of the air. High IQ this man has, says bearded Yoda. And then Elijah Lee can be seen here being violent to this red guy, as well as Malik Herring, who chases this giant donut, manhandling it to the ground. So very nice work from the defense today indeed. Let's now switch gears to the offensive side of the ball, as Pete Sweeney noted that Prince Tega Wanogho was working right tackle with the second team and thinks he's a sneaky, like a ninja, dark horse candidate to watch as time goes on here. And according to Charles Goldman of Chiefs Wire, Andrew Wiley was getting reps with the ones at right tackle today. So there you go. Wiley back on top, while Jerron Christian is seen taking a back seat, which is as expected. And then Matt McMullen, the Chiefs senior reporter, noted a highlight play, one of the highlight plays of the entire practice, after he said this: 3 separate groups of players had an opportunity to each take the field for a possession, but perhaps the best play of the day occurred when Patrick Mahomes tossed a beautiful touch pass into the arms of wide receiver JuJu Smith-Schuster, who made an over-the-shoulder catch down the sideline. And on the subject of JuJu, Matt Miller, an NFL insider for ESPN, was there today, I believe, and had this to say about JuJu: the Mahomes to JuJu connection looks nice. So, okay, nice. I like that. Pat was asked about the rapport he's developed with JuJu over the last handful of months in his presser, and this was his response.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. He does a great job of kind of getting in and out of routes. He does a great job of tough physical catches, but he has a great understanding for the playbook already. So as some of these new receivers get more and more accustomed to the playbook, you can see their talent show more and more. And I think we have a good group of guys that are smart and that have the physical ability to go out there and make plays.
So let's go. Mahomes could also be seen right here with a very nice pass to JuJu on this play with McDuffie close in coverage. That was a dime of a pass from Mahomes, if you ask me. Accuracy at its finest. Meanwhile, you have Tua turn the ball over, throwing passes like this. All right, while that pass did suck, to be fair, I read that Mahomes had a pass slip out of his hands today and was way off target, so it happens to the best of them. Even someone who is miles above an average QB like Tua turned the ball over. Anyway, moving on. Matt Derrick noted that Noah Gray had a busy day today and has shown some real consistency throughout this year's camp, which is good news for Gray. And the other tight end, the future Hall of Famer Travis Kelce, had a nice win here in this 1v1 rep against safety Justin Reid. And this is a W we are used to seeing, certainly, but it makes for great competition for Justin Reid.
I mean, the guy is just extremely talented. I wouldn't want any other tight end in the league to go against day in and day out because we're just making each other better.
And I found this a bit interesting here from Justin Reid's presser. His first ever preseason game was against the Chiefs, and his first ever preseason snap was ironically against Travis Kelce.
His preseason game was here in Kansas City, and my first snap was against Travis Kelce. Yeah, I won't ever forget that. He had ran a curl route. That was the way they opened up the game. But it's exciting, man. It's your first time to put on a jersey.
Justin Reid was then asked about his field goal kick that he attempted on the spot during a special teams period recently during practice, a kick that went very wide left, and Reid admitted that he definitely messed that one up.
Oh, yeah, I blew it. Yeah, I blew that one. Hey, threw me in straight into the fire. You know what I mean? But that's how it's going to be. But if that ever happens, I'll be ready for it.
Better luck next time, Justin Reid. All right, I'm going to shift back to the offense after my ADHD detour of Justin Reid, some defense, and even some special teams. Matt McMullen noted a receiver who had another standout day today, which was one of several recently in particular, and this was wide receiver Cornell Powell. That's right. McMullen said Powell has put together a strong overall body of work during this year's camp as he aims to earn a roster spot this season, and that solid effort continued during today's practice as Powell made several catches, two of which were physical grabs over the middle during both team and 7-on-7 drills. It completed what turned out to be a big week for Powell, who hauled in multiple leaping, full extension, you can't see my arm because it's fully extended, catches during Monday's practice. And Matt says that he'll need to maintain that performance through the preseason, but this camp has certainly been a positive for the former 5th-round pick. So, good news for Powell, whose stock seems to continue rising. And since we're on the subject of receivers, let's keep it moving, because here's a nice clip of Josh Gordon with a very solid 1v1 rep against defensive back Brandon Dandridge. Gordon's route looked clean, and he definitely fought all the way till the end to make sure he came down with that little ball. Solid work from Gordon here on this rep, who needs all the good reps he can get at this particular moment in time. We've talked about him. His stock was dipping a little bit during training camp. So, nice rep from Gordon. Keep it going, bud. And Skyy Moore could be seen completing a nice little snag from Chad Henne that floated just over the head of DiCaprio Bootle down the right sideline, and was also indeed working on his punt returns today. We will see him as the first guy returning punts, I believe, on Saturday, and Pacheco, Isaih Pacheo, will be returning kicks. Since I mentioned running back Isaih Pacheo, might as well talk about the man, as well as the rest of the running back room. Today was an interesting day for that room because in 9-on-7s, the running back rotation went as follows: CEH, Jerick McKinnon, Isaih Pacheo, and RoJo. That's right, RoJo was seen on the back end at today's practice, which is very interesting, but more on that man later as the drama seems to continue. During the long drive period today at practice, CEH saw around 8 plays, then McKinnon came out for a bit, and here's a nice pass from Mahomes to McKinnon, something we'll definitely see more of this season if the latter part of last season is any indication. And then Pacheco came out for a couple reps as well and could be seen catching this pass here from Mahomes, looking very quick and showing a good ability to use his speed to navigate fluidly down the field. And I'm freaking stoked to see him in action on Saturday, 100%. And I'm not the only one who's excited to see Pacheco out there Saturday, because Patrick Mahomes himself seems to be as well.
Yeah, he's physically gifted. And he's a smart player who practices really hard. He's big, he's fast, and when you're big and fast and you're smart, usually good things happen. So it'll be good to see him now have to show off his vision wherever we're tackling, making those cuts, and then getting vertical and showing off that speed. He has all the physical tools, and he's been mentally great at practice. So it'll be exciting to see him in the game where you get to go out there and make stuff happen.
And Matt Miller seems in on the Pacheco hype train, also tweeting this. I can confirm some of the training camp hype on Isaih Pacheo. He definitely passes the eyeball test in person while showing impressive burst and power. There's a lot of juice to his game. Pacheco also saw work with the second team offense, taking snaps in a run-heavy 10-play sequence for the number 2 units, and then Ronald Jones and Tanfleet Davis was handed running back duties behind quarterbacks Shane Buechele and Dustin Crum, respectively. And this is interesting because during one part of practice, the second team came out, and instead of Ronald Jones, it was actually Derek Gore, with Jones being relegated to the third team. Interesting. Nate Taylor of The Athletic said, "We haven't seen much of Ronald Jones during the team periods." Well, alrighty then, and Pete Sweeney of Arrowhead Pride surmises that we might actually see quite a bit of Jones on Saturday in spite of his lack of reps at times during practice, and it's for this reason, to get some tape out there on this man, which will in turn hopefully build up a little stock for him, allowing the Chiefs to flip him via some kind of a trade. Obviously, that's speculation from Sweeney, but certainly something worth noting and watching for this coming Saturday. And Coach Reid himself was asked about RoJo and his seemingly low amount of reps at times, and here's what Coach had to say.
Yeah, some days he gets more than other days, but he's taking advantage of that, the chances he's getting working hard. So he'll have a chance to play, yeah. We'll just see how he does.
So, yeah. The running back room remains extremely intriguing and something to keep our little eyeballs on. Indeed. Well, what do you guys think of today's practice? Are you excited about Noah Gray's progression? What about Cornell Powell's recent standout practices? What about Joshua Williams? Also, how about Isaih Pacheo and his hype? Do you think RoJo is indeed in trouble because of Isaih, who is out here willing to take another grown man's job? Or, nah, fam? Let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments down below, and let's bicker about it down there in the comments per usual. From here, I just want to take a moment to say thanks again for all the support, for all those who hung out in the live stream last night, and for all the wild super chats. Y'all are a bunch of freaking legends. It was crazy, and I'm blown away by all the support. And I also want to say thanks to some recent super thank comments from Jerry Lucas, Brad Boldridge, GG Omen 08, Hoove Old Navy, and James Cunningham as well. Jerry wants to shout out a happy birthday to Gunner, who was born on 8/11/2001. So today is his birthday, and he turned 21. So happy freaking birthday, Gunner, you little legend. Hope you have a great day, man. Seriously. Meanwhile, James Cunningham's super thanks comment is that he's a Josh Gordon believer and doesn't think both wide receiver 5 and 6 need to play special teams. Thinks Gordon still has a great shot at making the roster, and James doesn't seem at all bothered by that unofficial depth chart put out by the Chiefs PR team. Well, thanks for the input, man. I've always said this and will continue saying it. I hope the best 6 guys of the entire bunch make it. And if that's Josh Gordon, then let's freaking go and let's go and get some W's. Make sure to leave a bearded comment or a super thanks to potentially be featured in an upcoming vid. Sub, like, you know the deal. And then check out this video here, which is from Arrowhead Addict that they dropped today on what to watch for in the Chiefs versus Bears game. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?